to you today from a cave in a place called Beit Zahor, which is just down the hill from Bethlehem, adjacent to the shepherd's fields, which very well could be the right fields, but there's also 2 or 3 other sites. But we're right in the middle of sort of where the Christmas story took place. And I wanted to come to you from a cave because very likely Jesus was born in a place just like this. What your Bible says is that he was born in a manger. So to understand that a little, you have to understand how construction was done at the time of Jesus' birth. Now, all over this area, the land is all made of limestone, like what you see all around me. And today it's actually raining outside, and it's dripping in here. And that water seeping through over centuries creates caves like this all over this place. There's hundreds of caves in the Bethlehem area. And what people would do in ancient times is they would build above. Okay, so this place that I'm in right now, if you go back hundreds and hundreds of years, we can tell that someone built just above my head. So as you go out of the cave, you can look and you can see where foundations were dug and where a building sat over this cave. And the reason ancient people would do that is because then they get free space. And they would use the space down here for animals and to store grain and things like that. And very likely Jesus was born in a cave just like this. You know, so the house where they were staying would have been above, and then Mary would have come down here to give birth. If you ever go to the Church of the Nativity, which is where Catholic and Orthodox believers believe Jesus was born, it's also in a cave. Now you can't really tell anymore because the cave has been sort of covered and coated in marble and decoration and things like that. But it's also a cave there. So I think almost all Bible scholars agree on that part. But I also wanted to point out another part of the story that's a little bit interesting. Your Bible says, especially if you read the older translation like the King James, that there was no room in the inn. If you look at modern translations, it's going to say there was no room in the guest room, or there was no room in the lodging place, or something like this. It's actually a better translation, I think, of the Greek word that's used there. And that also makes sense in the context of history and culture. So even till this day, in this part of the world, if you're from here, like if you're from Bethlehem till this day, and you come to town, and you stay in a hotel, your family would be incredibly insulted at you. Like they would be so offended. They would not, you would be very, very difficult. You wouldn't do it. You simply would not think of it. Also, till this day, if you came to town as a relative and you needed a place to stay and your family didn't provide that for you, they would be viewed as incredibly rude. And they would never do that. And that's a part of the culture that's very old. And so I think most modern scholars, when they look at the story and what's said there, it becomes clear that they were coming here because it was Joseph's hometown. He would have come to his family's home and stayed there. And the reason it says that there was no room there is because if lots of people had to come in for the counting or for the census, and then Mary got ready to give birth, well, obviously you don't want to give birth in front of 10, 12, 15 of your relatives. And so what would have happened is they would have cleared a place very much like this, made it clean, more private, and she would have given birth in a place like this, yes, with the animals around and all of that. So I just want to give you all a little insight into maybe how the story really took place. It's a little different than most of our Western imagery of it.
This video is brought to you by Jerusalem School Bethlehem Media Team.
Here at JSB, we provide a Christ-centered education to the community of Bethlehem. If you'd like to know about us more, please follow our social media or visit our website.
Stay tuned for our next episode of This is the Holy Land.